do you realize? In fact, I have here a correspondence by the fact-finding mission. From their offices in Abuja, Nigeria, and sent to Usman Sonko, the IGP. It's dated 12 December. I am showing it to the chair first. Mr. Chair, we had received a file, one of the files seized from the NIA. These documents are from that batch. And you will recall that we had exhibited the complete list of files early on in the investigations. So these documents are from that set. So we may need to exhibit them individually. So they are not necessarily connected to the witness directly, but he should be able to comment on them because he assisted in that investigations. I am wish to show him this document to show that the investigators commented on the materials they received, but they did not comment on the diary from Bara, which shows quite clearly that either they did not receive that diary or that it did not contain any relevant information, both of which is quite important for us here. So that's why I want to show him that document. I had showed it to him before so that he could read it and have a feel of what it says. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Council. That's noted. Give him that.
And Exhibit 207 is also from that same file, from the file on the Ghanaians that was kept by the NIA.
The NIA did not give you that documentum voluntarily. When you use the word seize from them?
No. Remember, Mr. Chair, you signed a search and seizure warrant.
Yes, I did.
On the basis of that, we secured a cache of documents from the NIA.
Fine, that's good.
Yes, Mr. Witness, take a look at the document.
Yes, I'm just going through it. I want to make a comment before going further. You make two options. You projected two options. It's either the
perhaps, Mr. Honorable Minister, before we get to my observations, let's establish the nature and type of document and where it emanates from.
This document originates from ECOWAS, UN ECOWAS fact-finding mission.
United Nations and ECOWAS la tonya nyinin do kula lebulu.
Based in where?
Abuja.
Abuja sate auto Nigeria Bangkok.
And it was addressed to Honorable Usman Sonko.
Andu ya kime ye to bembi jawlem Honorable Usman Sonko.
Secretary of State for Interior, not Inspector General of Police at the time. That's why I want to rectify.
Otumo atelom Secretary of State, Minister Marta Bangkok and Kunyala, but wotembo amanke IGPT.
Yes.
And it's making reference to certain information that they want to be made available to them.
And we be menkaning kan wolem isolata kibar dolela me yalonko inyanta wo kibaro sotonnale.
You would agree that I had provided this document to you earlier to take a look at, correct?
Yes.
And you would agree that the document made reference of Bara, but it does not say anything about the migrants having been arrested and detained in Bara, correct?
That is correct.
You would also notice that it has discussed the diaries of the various stations that were provided to them.
But
you would agree that the Bara diary has not been mentioned.
That's correct.
So the Bara diary has not been mentioned. And the critical fact of the arrest and detention and the number of migrants having been arrested and detained in Bara was also not mentioned. Don't you find that odd?
It's very odd. As you said, the possibility is that it's either it's not submitted to them or they have not. But then what I can confirm to this commission here is that the extract of all the diaries were submitted to them. Probably the information is not available in the diary of Bara.
Personally,
I've not seen much activities in the Bara mentioning the Ghanaians.
Men ya lon ko wolle denta nyi wuda ila la ko la nyi lundanlu ila ko keta nyami bara maje safari bara la diary
with the extract that was handed over to me.
Ani kayto lu melnu ye dintela.
Thank you very much. Let's take this step by step. The extract you received, did it contain the list of names of Ghanaians apprehended?
No, I did not. I don't think, but I also packed them, all the information that were required from all the stations. Then I stapled them and then hand over. But I did not physically go through most of those things because my task at the time was to make these documents available. And when I asked about the diaries, the extracts were made and given to me. And that's what I handed over to the investigators.
Kaitol menu ditantela. Wato ye men kaninte bulu. Wala mnyinti dronga fere ke nganyin kaitol kafun nyoma nga dila. Wala na mandung kaitol nyil kono. Purka karang ay koy ma menni membije. Benno ditantela ntenga ulube kafun nyoma le. Nga masinguta nga be den nyobala. Puru nyin kamala isitara nyobala. Bitu nge den nyobala nyamenteng. Nga ule chika nga di kiskisirila lako. Itali ya kaninte bulu nyaming.
I cannot remember seeing a list.
Alung hakilo manyi mutako. Kaito bije dame yalon ko molle to be safari ngabala. And
this is precisely the point, Mr. Witness. You are a seasoned investigator. You are a lawyer. You know how station diaries are kept. It should be a list of the activities that occur at the police station. Correct?
Of course.
The information about the existence in Bara, if that was reported to the police station, it ought to have been written, correct? If you answer out of turn,
okay,
it would not be showed on the screen.
Yes, sorry.
Yes.
That's yes.
The departure of the police officers from Bara station to the site to verify the information or the complaint they receive also ought to have been recorded in the diary.
Police labo kabo police station do kata dinkirato ye kibaro men dila ko nyimol be nun damero fana nyana kala kula me ala ko janni be bola police station do fana nyana kala kula me an ko nyanna safira diary nyi kono fo.
Diary is a register that takes care of all the activities of police officer and even handing over of exhibits and other things.
Diary mu fenneti dame yalon ko fen na tamata o police station o kala akono ku ke ta lomba keta ko kundinti telbe men no ma satala abe nyanta safela o kitabo le kono haninin kule me yalon ko labe fenne cikala ka di fenna wala fembe sawna ka bulu kata bulu o be nyanta safela o bukole kono.
Fantastic.
Inyata.
So the departure of the police officers from the station to go and visit the location where these migrants were also should have been recorded.
Woto amulda nyinna ko police on labo police station do katani dinkira do me alon ko nyimmol e kibaro so ko nyimmol be o damiro woni nyin tamalalti o fana nyana kala kula de me alon ko nyana safera diary nyi kono.
So yes, as I said earlier, every activity at the police station.
I know. I am asking these questions for an important purpose. The return of police officers to the stations with migrants arrested also should have been recorded.
Police fana no murungan kabona nyi dinkira ni nyi tamala kabri muruta na police no fana kenya na kala kula me an ko nyana safera diary nyi kono.
It should have been recorded.
Anyanta safela no.
And the names of those people who have been arrested and brought to the station should have been recorded.
Muta mol fana me alon ko ye muta na ye nati police station no fana tol nyana safela diary nyi kono fo.
Yes.
And the transfer of those arrested from the station into the cells also should have been recorded.
And womuta mol fana ni be sound la kabo police station ke ndi selo nyi fana ngono fana nyana kala kula de me alon ko fana nyana safera diary.
Council, yes.
Council muto nyalti.
And their release from Bara police station to any other authority should also have been recorded.
Andung ila kebula fana kabo Bara police station kadi hanna be dila momo kantilo fana nyana kala kula de me alon ko nyana safera la fana.
Council, that's right. That's correct.
Council muto nyalti.
And the names of those released to other authorities also should have been recorded.
Bula omol fana me alon ko ye bula de ke kabondi o police station ke dio ko kantio dola me be dila men o fana nyana kala kula de me alon ko be safera o diary.
That's correct.
Muto nyalti.
You would agree that that would have meant a number of entries all centered around these people who were arrested in Bara.
Andu ibe sanna manyin la ko nyin kul be ni araketa o anyama no abe sugila ni molle me alon ko ye muta Bara la o fanna lanu police station.
Walem.
And those entries would have established a coherent narrative of the interaction between the police and those apprehended, including the informants.
Anu ibajela woto ko ni o safiro keta nyama tilinta o benyina choki nyola tilindi ngole dila o police ol menni muta aniye o muta mole menu muta anun kibar dila nyim fana ngabere ko nyim tilindi la wol.
Correct, council.
Council.
And that would have also clearly established the story of how these migrants came into the custody of the Gambia government.
And wofana bina sabatin le tariko la tarika sabatin ngo bina sot nola nyimuta mol nyi natana sot akeno nyaadi la fo natana tara Gambia masa kundala Morocco.
That's correct, council.
Council.
And you would agree that with these entries in hand, it would not have been possible for the Gambia government to deny having custody or having had custody of these people.
Andu ibajela wasafiro nyendo niyo keta atakeno la masa kundame benu njang atakeno le bulu nyala me alongo pour ya balan ka fo ko nyimol tamandre la marul ko.
That's correct.
You would agree. I just want to show you something.
Lefta fenna itandi lela.
with all these facts, if this diary was given to the Ghanaians, or to the UN fact-finding mission, they would have known that over 50 West African migrants were apprehended in Gambia, correct? I will read out a paragraph from this report. The investigators received a letter from the Gambia government sent by Lamin Kababajo. And this is what it says. Following preliminary investigations, it came to light that the group had fallen victim of unscrupulous human traffickers who had taken monies from them to Europe. Consequently, the group was cautioned and released on humanitarian grounds. That is a blatant lie.
Of course, with the facts that are available now, it's a lie and then it's a cover-up.
Tonya sede kolu minu findita sign tonya lu minu banketa ni yenyin kumakang lu jibe kumakang fania fingol le munyin kumakang luti.
And also, if the UN was given the diary, that too would have showed that this is a lie.
I want to rectify that this thing. If the UN were given the correct diary.
Yes, that's what I meant to say.
Because I made an extract of the diary that I believe were all genuine and hand over to them.
That diary was falsified.
Yeah, I only come to know that when Jawara Demba and Ba testified before this commission.
We have received information that this was common knowledge at the police. When at the time you were CMC.
As I said, Council, I know that something has happened in this country. But nobody talks about it. So I have never even discussed or asked anybody about it.
But the insiders did discuss it.
I mean, yeah, because those who knows the fact, definitely they will discuss about it. This is somebody who just come and something happened in his absence. It's not my duty at that time to make my own findings. I may get myself into a serious problem, even though I know there is likelihood of foul play.
Katu kuwa keta menu nyala wolu foya sata bari nite nata dro ite lunta ma idunta kuolu kono ikoeba kuo noma sata la asikeno ye fandundi ku kebalo kono wala idun ku kono ifango mammen kalango long wodalilo le ya sabu.
I could have refrained from even participating in this if I knew the facts that I know now. If I know them before, I would definitely find ways to evade or escape being part of that task force.
Katu kuo mengalon sain na tumo ningalon nungo tembo nde fango be ferolu kelale anin katarambulo luta memba kendila ko wo kafo me ye tombong wonya wo task force ndate tarlaje.
But I thought I was doing a duty.
Bari ngani mira nungo tumo ko mbedo ko le kekan.
Mr. Witness,
whose responsibility it is to keep the station diary?
Is
the station officer.
Station officer.
When you asked for the diary, what were you told?
That I was told that it should Ba, and Ba said it should Sonko. He handed that diary to Usman Sonko.
What position did Usman Sonko hold when he was given the diary?
Usman Sonko
I think because I was not here when he was appointed the IG, but I want to believe that he was IG. I never met him as an IG.
Left la ko ubekela tumomen atelom IGT ba tala o palaso to tumomen nanteti jande adunata tumomen fana matara o palaso to bare atelom IGT wotumo.
And as at the time these investigations were happening, the time you were asking for the IG, what position did he hold?
And what mena nyinkisiro bekela andu be nyini karo kela IG la
he was the Minister of Interior.
Atelom minister timemmarta banko kankunyal.
If you were told that this person had the diary, would that evoke some questions in your mind?
Usually, if occurrence happened that requires some investigation, IGP will always want to see the diary itself and go through it. But normally, it has to be returned back to the police station.
Lim kuketa me yalon ko kukumalom andung IG nyanta kulon na wokuoto ayi nyanto soto le purka o dari kaning ayajube membeje menketa mendunta dayari nyinkono bari na pareta bala anyanta murundi le wo police station oto.
Sometimes it's the other way around, that the IGP will move to the station and inspect the diary.
Modo la ka Kenya do nyale ma IGP fonsi wuli ayta station oto kata diary nyinjibe.
When I was the IG, that's what I normally do. I go to almost every station within the greater Banjul. Inspecting their diaries. Where I need to make a comment, I will make a comment.
That is good policing. All right? For the person who's not hiding anything. But to collect the diaries from the station and to keep them and to provide you an extract when the investigations are ongoing smacks of nothing short of cover-up. An intention to hide things. You agree?
Definitely. Because this, I will call this letter from the ECOWAS. We have never seen that.
Well, it was sent to the minister. So
yeah,
yes. But the fact that you did not receive the diary from the correct source. Really stinks of massive irregularity.
Of course.
We were told that the cover-up by the Gambia government was not limited to just those people. Even those who asked questions were asked to mind their own business. Are you aware of that?
I am not.
But let's look at the statement by Ba. Ba suggested that He told you.
Ko akoyne ko.
That this issue is very complicated.
That's not true.
And he said you told him that the UN people were received at the airport. They were given alcohol and women. And they did not investigate. They left.
Akoyete kayko UN na in luntangol menina la kisikisiro la ye bendung airport or wala kulumpila jidla to andung ye bendung jele ye dolol dila aning musolu yo ming aning ye musol dila itata.
Don't be surprised that somebody from this commission again will say the commission members were given alcohol, and if you can believe in that, then it's obvious that.
Nyinkane tereng ni moso ronda menko commissioner lumene bijaye dolodi wol fanan lale akane terende.
But what I want to confirm here, Ba is a terrible liar. And these are people that personally I honored very well. And they are very respectable.
But of course, you know, Mr. Witness, we would interrogate this issue. We would question it and so as to give the commissioners the opportunity to be able to determine to discern the truth from falsehood, as the learned bishop would always pray for.
I have the Quran here, taking ablution.
Mr. Witness, let me also remind you that a lot of people have sat there and done the same theatrics and they lied.
But I will never lie to this question.
I know that. I trust you wouldn't, but nonetheless the questions would have to be asked.
I was seriously disturbed because I'm somebody who, the moment you lie, naturally, I don't like. Everybody who is very close to me knows that.
Tell us what you discussed with Ba. Everything you talked about.
It was a very short listing. I only inquired from him as to the whereabouts of the file. That Jawara, I was informed that you have knowledge about the file.
Nimbala dia musutuneti adu nanyin karo ateye men
please hand over that file to the NIG.
File nyi nanyin kawole andu anatanyile fanyanko
in 2005.
Ateye file nyindi utumo membe IG yala 2005 sangokono.
I said, okay, you can go. If I need to call you back, I will call you. And
for
him to say, Fali Jabang.
Just a moment. You discussed nothing else.
Nothing.
Not anything else, not a word more.
Not a word. Just go. When I need you, I will call you.
But the shocking thing here, Mr. Witness, is that he knew about the presence or the trip of the UN.
Well, I don't know, because because he knew. Probably they know that the UN is coming. But what I told him is that I only find out from him the whereabouts of the file.
Asike atebota kuolu kalama. Bari ntenga ate nyinin kamel na wole mnyim file dinklat.
Let me just clear that point. It could not be possible for me to say that we give them the listing, because then they have not even arrived.
No, but just hear me out. Just hear me out. I see that particular issue. Because the way this guy made it to sound is not that you asked for the diary from him before they arrived. I think he seems to suggest that he was asked of the diary afterwards, after they arrived. And that is plausible because the Ghanaians, the UN was asking for more information. Because I checked that. I made a deliberate effort to check that. So his allegation is still plausible.
The second request that we are showing, this is the second request. This has never reached to the task force.
Well, you could be asked to provide more materials by, the IGP.
No, that was the end of, when we submitted these things and they're gone, I have never been asked about anything about these Ghanaians. Okay,
but let's just continue to interrogate this so that the commission would have the basis to arrive at a conclusion. You see, it also happened that coincidentally, another member, sorry, before that, Ba needed to have had knowledge that you were involved with the UN. And he would not have had that knowledge if he was not informed by somebody who knows about this. You agree with that?
Yes, I'm sure he must have been informed, but I didn't.
But he said you informed him.
No.
He knows it from you.
No, I cannot remember informing him. All that I need from him. In fact, this is somebody that I don't see for almost several years.
But that is neither here nor there.
Yeah.
All right? And the thing is, this man also mentioned meeting Fali Jabang in your office. Correct?
Well, I'm not sure of that, but Fali is part of the team. But if Fali was there, then, but in his testimony, he said, I spoke to him when Fali was out.
Yes. But Fali came back inside.
I cannot remember talking to Ba in the presence of anybody. I will not dispel the fact that when he was going out of my office, he must have met Jaban, because then it was the starting point for our facilitation.
Asikeno abe fintila na office kono tumomeng ani Jaban benta utumole katu wotembole keta kolu damu tadulati men keta na kisikisi roti.
But the fact that he said, I said, these people are going to be given alcohol, and that is not right, and he needs to apologize to the UN staff for that.
Kafoko ntakaina ko dolole dita UN la dokula la ni musolu womanke to nyati adunga nyanta UN la mulu bolo sayla wolale.
Well, that statement, Mr.
I don't personally associate myself to anything alcohol.
Mr. Witness, that may be patronizing to the UN. I recall, as the leader of the Darfur investigations, I went to the Sudan, and top Sudanese officials, some of them are imams, gave us alcohol. Of course, in the delegation were people who drink alcohol, and it didn't mean anything. So the fact that one has particular values does not necessarily show that these things do not happen.
Why the need for me to tell a subordinate officer of his rank what I intend to do or what I did? What's the relevance of it? Because to me, there's no connection with him and the UN and the job that I'm doing.
These are rhetorical questions, Mr. Witness. Perhaps you would be the best person to answer them. But if I may, let me finish, Honorable Minister. Let me finish, Honorable Minister. You know the rules, and I do not want to be seen as disrespecting your position. Thank you very much. The fact of the matter is, this person has raised 3 significant issues, or 4 significant issues, which suggest that your encounter with him was more than just where is the document? It is with somebody else. Okay, you can go. It was not as simple as that.
If there should be anything, it's just formal greetings between me and him, because he's somebody that I know, and I have not seen him for quite some time. I do not even know that he is interdicted.
Nala ko mendun tanate ma diamola karola fonyo kontongo de katu mole mfama tanye menna adunta wotu mo fongo nte malon ko ine ya mutanu.
I want the commission to play his record
lafita nin commission sano yala kumakangulu sein kam fintin
and read his body language the sooner he said that.
Ya jube akalango fongo nya laketa nyamin bring ay nyu kumakangulu fadala.
Mr. Witness, are you an expert in reading body language?
No, I'm not an expert in that, but I spent quite a number of my life as an investigator.
But
there are certain reactions that human beings react when they say something that is not true.
Man hada madingulu kalanya londo soto baba bake baringa senji jamale ke kisi rola adun nimmo e kalimo fu be yalon
Mr. Witness, equally Mr. Witness, when people do something and you ask them about it, sometimes there's a particular way they react.
Yes.
And sometimes they get agitated. You agree?
Personally, I get agitated when somebody lies.
Just answer the question. Sometimes they get agitated.
Yes, of course.
And you realize that you are more agitated now than before.
Because my biggest enemy is lies.
No, but one could interpret that to suggest that you have been hit at a soft spot. No, that's why you're reacting in this way.
All those who know me, even from the family level, friends level, everywhere, you start telling me lies, I don't move with you.
But exactly, they would have to know you in order to read your body language correctly.
Yes.
So you see, that is why we don't have to go to body language.
No problem, no problem. But I am, because apart from the body language,
let me ask you this question to end this issue.
Okay, thank you.
You agree there was a massive government cover-up?
Yes, I realize that now. Massive one.
All they told the international community was a lie.
Yes, of course.
Were you part of that cover-up?
Never. Never.
Well, the investigations in this continues. And if the commission receives further evidence in this matter, as may concern you, you would be informed and be asked to react to that.
Thank you.
All right. But the commission notes that as at this time you were new back in the country.
And that
the investigations were still going on. Mr. Chair, I would perhaps leave the letter by, I would ask that the UN ECOWAS fact-finding mission letter to the IGP, to the Secretary of State for Interior be exhibited as Exhibit 207B? B.
Yes, in boy.
Tentatively B, because the A you'd have to decide.
No, I can grant you your request now on A.
Okay, thank you very much.
I went through it again and then it's okay.
Okay, good. Good.
So 207B also granted request.
I just have here a letter sent by Lamin Kababajo to Ghana. But I'll leave that until Kababajo comes to testify about it.
What's the date on that letter?
2nd December 2005.
The 2nd December 2005. And in what capacity did Kababajo send that?
Minister
of what?
Of Interior, I do think. No, Foreign Affairs. Secretary of State for Foreign Affairs.
Okay.
That must have been a brief stint of his.
But you will hold that in abeyance until
I will hold that in abeyance.
Okay.
That letter is just a rehash of the findings of the Malamin Sise panel. It's a complete cock and bull story that they were given.
Indeed.
Yeah. So, Mr. Witness, I would not bother you further with this story of the Ghanaians. But you have had the story or the evidence presented here that that diary was fabricated.
Ko kuma men di commission nyati no ja wala ni o daire nyimu kuma kanen mi alon ko ifannu kuma kan wali wolle le safe o daire nyindo manke daire tile note.
Yes, because the authors of the fabrication mention it here.
Ha ka to menu family o tapale ya safe je family ya fo janne,
which made the reaction of the UN ECOWAS fact-finding mission look sensible because they received fabricated documents.
UN ECOWAS la kibaro ni anata la kibaro ni sabati ndikatu ye kibaro men so kibaro le mi alon ko manke kibaro tilino de andu fana ya safe wala nyam.
Good. So now let us talk about the other issue. In 2016, sorry, was it 2016? Yes, 2016.
2016
the UDP people demonstrated.
UDP kanuntela balambaya nying.
Some were arrested. Solo Sandeng died.
Solo Sandeng na for Aniola.
UDP executive members demonstrated again.
UDP la kunukumal ni narna balambaya ulinde ako akamba kotenke.
They were arrested and detained.
Inata ne wol fana muda yesindi dagli.
Can you tell us about it?
Isukuma fono nyo woto le bang.
Yes, thank you very much. I think it was on the 14th of May. April 2016.
April 2016.
I was in my office at about 3:45. Then I received a call, not from the police officer, but from a civilian. That there is something at Westfield. It appears that there's a huge crowd there. I called the commissioner of Kanifing. They said he's aware and he has already dispatched 2 senior officers in the persons of Ablai Sane, and the other one is So, I cannot remember this first name. I also called the commissioner of Kanifing, PIU, and he said he has sent his men there. It was
Mr. Witness, are you suggesting that the commander for PIU deployed the PIU without informing you?
Yes, yeah, because he said he have already sent officers there. The normal procedure is deployment of PIU, except if they are to be armed, they have to be, the IGP has to be informed. But if they are not armed with weapons, then the IGP needs not to be informed. The commandant has the discretion for the deployment. It's only when rifle or tear gas or whatever is to be used, that time he has to be informed.
IGP isi kibaro diala ning ayatara PIU la mol bita dameng inin jorangul le bita jamen ko kilo wala ikatia gas fay jorangul menula inamanata inyanta IGP bondila kalamale.
May I ask,
certainly before,
may I ask,
yes,
did you receive a prior request for authorization to deploy?
Oh, ye kanindro soro laban janding wo molbe kila jeba.
No.
Honey.
Do you know the type of equipment that were used by the PIU during that employment? Deployment?
I do not know what they used.
Did you inquire?
No. When after some time I called him back and he said the situation is under control.
No resistance. Did you inquire?
I did not.
The type of equipment that he used?
No, I did not. All that I find out from him is that about the situation. I said the situation is under control and there's no resistance.
I would come into all those issues. Okay. Did you agree the operational rules, the rules of engagement for his deployment?
Of course, it all depends on the circumstances, the situation that calls for. Because his deployment is definitely under his own command until there is a certain category of operations that the IGP has to be informed. In a normal distance, they deploy to stadium, IGP cannot. They deploy almost everywhere, and IGP is not aware of that.
But in this particular instance, we understood that they carried guns.
I don't know, but then all that when I found them, I found only battens. And they were not in a proper riot gears. Because the proximity of that venue to the PIU camp is too short. And probably when they heard about it, they only quickly mobilized the standby unit to rush to that place. That's my belief.
The thing is, you may be confusing because this involved two incidents.
Yeah, I'm talking about the first incident.
I am talking about the second incident.
I said on the 14th of April. So I'm referring to 14th of April.
Let's talk about the 16th. I am not focused on the 14th. The 14th was a surprise.
Yes.
The state reacted on the basis of that surprise.
Okay.
All right? But they were on alert until the 16th. And then this demonstration of the 16th is the one I am most concerned about.
Demonstration of the 16th, this one is on a weekend. I think it falls on a Saturday. I was at home, either Friday or Saturday, because then Friday and Saturday are public holidays. I was at home around between 7 and 8. My telephone rang. It was the Minister of Interior. I answered the phone. He said whether I am aware of any demonstration. I said no. He said there is a demonstration starting from Honorable Dabo's residence. I quickly enter into the bathroom, take my shower. He called again. And he said, where are you? I said, I'm coming. But that time I was definitely, because I don't want him to know that I'm still, I cannot just jump up and then go. So I got up and drove furiously towards Senegambia. I took Senegambia because I don't want to be confronted with the mob. And I also changed my vehicle to a smaller vehicle. I was in Mufti and could hardly be recognized. Then I drove towards, I went up to the Kairaba Junction. I turned right to Kairaba. As I drove towards the Usainu Dabo's residence, those are the foresight of the foresight that I saw 2 army officers dragging a lady from the compound.
Being dragged by who?
By 2 soldiers. Then I realized that soldiers are also around.
You see, Mr. Witness, take a look at your statement. Take a look at your statement. The statement says being dragged by 2 PIU officers.
But then the recorder made a mistake. These are soldiers.
You see, the irony is, why would the recorder mistake soldiers, army, for PIU? Seeing that you controlled the PIU and not the army.
Sorry if that is the case, but it is the army officers. I saw you this morning and I queried about it.
Okay, proceed,
I don't want
please.
to go into that.
Proceed,
These are
please.
2 army officers dragging a lady from Usainu Dabo's residence. I'm sure the lady who has been dragged probably she'll be here to give evidence.
Proceed, please.
Then I moved towards the Kairaba Mosque, where I found a checkpoint. The street was virtually empty, with pockets of movements. I sighted one of the officers running after a young boy. I called the attention of the commander, who? Jan, Superintendent, or by that time I don't know where his age, but I think it's, I called his attention. I said, "Look, Jan, your people cannot do that. These are fleeing rebels. Don't have to run after them." Then I moved.
So in fact, you realized that people under your ultimate command were doing the wrong thing.
Yes, yes, that's right. Then I proceeded to Cedar Club, where I found another checkpoint. I explained the same thing to them, that they should not go for people who are already on the run.
Is that the only advice you gave them?
Yes, that's the only advice, that they should not go for people who are on the run.
During this operation, what did they carry?
What I've seen with those officers is a gunner.
What?
A gunner used for tear gas.
Did you authorize the use of that equipment?
I don't.
Was that regular?
It was not.
And you realized it? And did you do what you were supposed to do? This was unauthorized. You needed to have been the person to authorize that operation. It means that your commander of the PIU acted outside the realms of his authority.
I want to believe that he uses discretion because he did not call me, but the minister called me, and I found the minister on the ground.
Was this a situation where he could lawfully use his discretion?
Yeah, where if he feels he should deploy. But they all know, all the unit commanders knows their rules of engagement.
No, let's go back. Was this level of equipment, the use of this level of equipment within the purview of his authority?
For tear gas and battens, you need not to contact the IG.
Mr. Witness, you are recalibrating what you said. No. Mr. Witness, earlier you told us that for use of tear gas and guns, they needed your authorization. For use of battens and other regular deployment, they did not need your authorization.
There are certain equipments, if they are to use that, use of rifles at any time, it should not have been even used. But when it comes to the wars and it has been used, it has to be authorized. And there are procedures. And also the use of tear gas. Use of those gunners. He should have had your authorization. For tear gas,
but these are things we can easily verify.
Yeah,
we go to the rules.
I've seen on several occasions tear gas being used, and
but that
for
is
rifles,
the issue.
I know.
The issue is, should he have looked first for your authorization?
Yes, you should have at least contacted me, because my information comes from the minister.
Do you think that it is a dereliction of duty that the commander did not refer to you as the IGP? We have to correct these things. We have to call these things out for what they are.
At that particular time, I don't think there is any fault on him at that time.
Mr. Witness,
it has been the practice.
Mr. Witness, there is.
Yeah, we're trying to reform, but that has been the practice.
But even that practice was unlawful. We have to call a spade a spade. We have to call them by what they are. This was unlawful.
If you want to take it that way, I wouldn't mind. I think it's unlawful.
This is not me. I did not write your rules. Your rules were there for you to apply.
Yes.
So he acted unlawfully. Because we have to stop this culture of people doing whatever they want to please the president. We have to stop that culture. We have to do things according to law. Do you agree?
Yes, of course.
Did he act properly?
Under
the law.
He did not act properly in the circumstances.
All right, let's proceed then. Let's make headway. From there on, you went to the PRU headquarters in Kanifing, correct?
Yes.
And what did you see there?
The first thing, when I entered, I found the director of NIA, and I found some other army officers in. I could not remember. Quite a number of them are from the State Guard. I went straight to Yankuba Baji, because I had certain information that I want to verify from him. Because overnight, in the social media, there is information that one of the previous protesters was killed, died in the custody of the NIA. I went straight to him, and I said, Toma, is it true that somebody died in your custody? And he looked at me for a while. He said, Tom, between me and you, he died. Then I said, how? Then while saying how to him, then I looked my left. I saw Honorable Minister Sonko sitting
Honorable Minister Sonko just sitting
under the mango tree. Then that's when I stopped my conversation with Yankuba and proceeded to Honorable Sonko. I greeted him and he said, "But you've taken a long time." I said, "I'm sorry, I took the other way around." Then I said, "I understand." He said, he told me that the arrested people were there. Then I moved to the hall. When I arrived, the first person to talk to me was Honorable Usainu Dabo. And
what did he say?
He said, "IGP, you've seen what your people have done to us."
What was he referring to?
Injuries on them.
Caused by who? According to
my
him?
people. My people.
And you saw the injuries on
Yes,
them?
I've seen them. I saw them.
So the excessive force was used on them, correct?
They were injured. About 3 or 4 or 5 of them.
And blood all over them?
Yeah, with 3, Usainu Dabo, Kemeseng, and Diba.
And what was done thereafter?
I said to him, "Mr. Dabo, allow me to make sure that I do something about your condition." I called the medic officer, the commissioner of medic, and he said he's around Brusubi, sort of. I said, "But I want your people to be here in the next 20 minutes." He said, "I have two of my officers around Ibo Town, Joshua. I will call them now to come." I think one of them probably is not far because he came less than 10 minutes. Then he came to me and I said, "Well, look at these people. They need urgent medical attention." Then he opened their medical clinic. But it's about 2 or 3 or 4 steps. And I advised him to bring the equipment out, because probably some of them will have difficulty in coming up. I personally held the first person that I had the medical attention was Kemeseng. I may be a little bit biased because he's a personal friend of my brother. I always call him brother.
You forgot the concept of triage.
Well, but I cannot pick all of them at the same time. Also.
Well, that is the reason why there is this principle of triage.
Yes, he has more blood coming on his head.
So now he qualified.
And I held his hand and then walked with him to the facility. I was seated and I sat beside him.
So they were treated?
Until he's treated.
And then what happened after that?
Why I'm saying this thing, because I listened to Kemeseng's testimony. And he said, "I came there, but I did not do anything. I will call what the Manika would say Bisal. Because because he knew that I was the one, and he was the first person to be treated, and I was the one who left his hand. And he also said nothing. I make sure that, because I found quite a number of them standing on just a floor like this, all of them. Some squat down. I called my Commissioner of Finance to immediately bring sponge mattresses for them.
You have already assumed that they would be detained.
No, I don't want to see people because they have injuries. Quite a number of them.
Mr. Witness, would they have needed mattresses if they were not meant to sleep there?
But how can you also leave them? You cannot also leave them in those conditions.
Process them and release them.
Yeah, but I did that.
After detaining them?
No, because my thing is that it was early in the morning, and I can see some of them having some medical conditions because I squat down for every one of them to find out whether they have any medical history. And quite a number of them said they are on medication, and whether diabetes or high blood. I spent $3,000 from my pocket and gave it to one of the medical officers to go to Step Shop to buy medication for them. At least something that would take them, that would make them a little bit comfortable. I'm mentioning this because somebody said I came and I did nothing. Because I know I have provided food. There are over 50 cartons of water that I provided. And every one of them is on his own mattress. And I personally spared those mattresses. So, and then also instructed the CID officers to immediately obtain their statements. With the instruction, because I called the CMC aside, I said, what I told him is that those that said they are only passing, they make alibi that they are just going on their way and they are arrested. Let me have their list. Those people who are also recognized to be UDP militants, but in their statement they did not confirm that they form part of the demonstration. Let me have that in another category. Then the last category is those who confirm they are part of the demonstration. Then that's the last category.
So tell us, what were they being investigated for?
They did not obtain permit. I was
but Mr. Witness, you are a lawyer. Did they need a permit to go out and picket?
As our law stands as of now, even myself, I am in for notification, but as our law stands as of now, until it is amended, they need permission.
But wouldn't they have needed a permit only in circumstances where they were to use a microphone?
That is public meetings, but processions. Processions.
For a procession, they need a permit.
They need a permit because they are going to obstruct other road users. So that there is a need for the police to divert other road users if permit is allowed.
Could you refer us to the relevant section of the law?
I may not have the relevant, but I think it's either Public Order Act, Section 5 and 6. One of them is talking about that. I'm not sure which one.
We would check that.
Yes.
We would check that. So they were being investigated, correct? The participants or those who were apprehended were the people who were being investigated, correct?
Yes.
Was there any other investigations carried out?
No. Whilst I advise the CMC to categorize them into groups, he reported to me after the statements that the first category are those that are probably made alibi that they were they are going somewhere else and they had this. They were intercepted by the police. They were instantly released. 12 of them. I instructed they are released. I also instructed the bail of another 11 or 13. Because these are people that we know to be part of the UDP, but did not commit themselves to be part of the procession. And we decided that we should let them go on bail. And it remains 18 or 19 out of 47 or 48. Those ones we quickly prepared their files, and I instructed that they should be put before the court on the Public Order Act.
That was the end of the investigation.
Yes, because what we need from them is that whether you have the permit, what were you doing, where do you start your procession,
did you investigate your men for excessive use of force?
We did not.
Did you investigating your men for unlawfully injuring Usainu Dabo and others?
We did not. But they also made a statement. They also made a statement.
But under the law, if the law was applied properly, correctly, evenly, without bias, that should have been investigated.
While the officers concerned, they all made their statements.
Which officers?
Arresting officers.
They made statements for the purposes of the prosecution of those apprehended. But none of those officers was questioned for their unlawful use of force.
No.
None of those officers was investigated for unlawfully assaulting Usainu Dabo and others.
Yeah, that's true.
In a democracy, in a country of rule of law, those officers needed to have been investigated, correct?
That's the normal. What happens on every riot situation is that immediately after the riot situation, assessment of the situation is conducted. There you know where your faults are and who are responsible for excessive use of force. But this is a situation which the work of the police is taken by some other services.
Like which other services?
The military were involved in arresting. The NIA were involved in arresting. And as I said in my
and the
earlier...
PIU were involved in arresting.
Yeah, those are police officers. I don't...
And the PIU were also involved. Look, the army did not carry batons, did they?
Well,
and a lot of the injuries were by batons.
Batons, yeah.
So clearly, those injuries were caused by your police officers.
Yeah, they are caused by our police officers.
In fact, that is the reason why Honorable Usainu Dabo pointed to you. He says, you see what your people have done to us. In fact, he was protesting to you that your people have violated the law. You agree?
Yes. At the time, my concern was the injury. I was not expecting...
No, Mr. Witness. Your concern was those you believe violated the law, those who openly challenged the government of Jammeh. That was the concern. That these are the people who had the audacity to challenge the government, and therefore they had to be processed and dealt with according to law. That was the preoccupation.
I will not take you away from your belief, but that was not my belief.
No, look, I have no belief in this. I am neutral in this. All I do is ask questions, logical questions, necessary questions for the Commission to be able to arrive at conclusions. If I had my wish, no Gambian would sit on the chair. So I ask these questions because they need to be asked. Sometimes they are inconvenient, but...
Yeah, I know, we understand with you, but we are also in a situation that I want you to also understand. Sometimes you want to be doing the correct thing. And it's difficult for you to do this. We are equally frustrated. My treatment of providing them all those provisions was seen as an opposition. I don't know whether the commission will believe in that. That I gave Usainu and his people the VIP treatment, according to them everything at their disposal. But I don't mind about that.
I would say that is humane treatment. I would say that is something that is to be expected. I would say every Gambian would deserve that kind of treatment. Be it Honorable Usainu Dabo, be it Demba Mansajang who lives in Dingirai. All of them would have deserved that kind of humane treatment. So anybody who criticizes you for that, I am afraid is missing the point.
That has been the talk.
But Mr. Witness, we would not clap for you for doing the right thing.
No, I don't expect a clap. But
equally, if the wrong thing is done, we would raise it.
Yes, you are right. You are right.
These people should have been investigated and prosecuted.
Of course, they should.
It was your responsibility.
That was my responsibility to investigate.
It was neglected.
Well, I will not say neglected.
It was not done. It was not done.
No,
it was not done.
It was not done, but let me just tell you.
And the law required that, let me finish, the law required that it be done because they have committed violations.
At the time, I was only forcing my way myself to take command of the PIU. Okay. But in effect, there was a verbal instruction from the office of the president, from the president to General Baji, that PIU administratively should be under the Inspector General of Police, but operationally under General Baji. I did not take that I still continue to be in charge of it. Until after that incident, and I have a written letter, and I have a copy of the letter here, that the PIU, maybe because of the whatever this thing I did to them, VIP women, I want to believe. Soon after, in August or April, August, I received instruction that administratively the PIU should be, operationally should be under the General Baji.
This is quite interesting, and you think that that should not be the case? That should not be the case.
But notwithstanding, I still managed to be involved.
But you would agree with me that between April and August, the time you received the letter, Usainu Dabo and others were investigated and taken to court.
Yes, then I did not receive the written instruction. I'm also very careful of the verbal instruction.
But also within that time, if the law was being applied evenly, without bias, then the PIU officers also could have and should have been investigated and prosecuted. Do you agree with that?
Yes, I do.
And you know that the failure to do that reinforces the status quo that used to happen, where government officers violated the law in pursuit of Yaya Jammeh's interests, nothing happens to them. You agree with that?
Can you repeat that, Council?
That by your failure to do anything about it, the age-old modus operandi of impunity for those who acted in favor of Jammeh's interest when they committed crimes. It just added to a reinforcement of that unlawful situation, whereby you do something unlawful for or in the name of Jammeh, nothing happened.
I know he is very sensitive to on political matters. I have in several instances high-profile suspects without any consultation.
Without any
consultation. But matters of politics, sometimes we are very careful.
Was that the reason why you did not investigate and prosecute these people?
If I am to investigate, I will get to the bottom of it. Some of the officers will be involved. But because I personally saw officers dragging, and they arrest quite a number of people. But
here I am referring to a complaint you have received from the leader of a political party who was assaulted badly. He suffered injury. He has complained to you, the IGP. And you did not do anything about it.
Because that was just the starting of my interaction with them.
In all honesty, Mr. Honorable Minister, do you see that as a dereliction of duty? Do you see that as a failure to discharge an important responsibility? In a functioning democracy,
democracy betama ka woleto.
Yeah, but you're talking about functioning democracy. That was not a functioning democracy.
But he could come in democracy betama kanda. But what to democracy mantara tamaka
democracy.
I asked my question advisedly.
Yeah,
do you consider that to be a dereliction of duty in a functioning democracy?
It
should not have happened.
Should not have happened.
And the thing is,
even if it happened,
that would not be the end of demonstrations in this country. And we have said that never again should these violations happen in our country. All concerned should be educated to the fact that certain conduct is unlawful. I don't want to go further by addressing 3 years Jotna, for instance, how they were treated. But the law has established rules on how these things should be handled. And you agree that those things needed to have been handled properly and in accordance with law.
Yes, in
a proper democracy.
Democracy, but
and that is what we strive for. We want to have a proper democracy in this country, and therefore things like this should not happen. You agree?
I agree, and we are also making efforts towards that. At a personal level, from 2018, I have prepared guidelines on the use of force. I don't know whether it will be of interest to you. I wouldn't mind showing.
By all means, bring them. Mr. Chair, I would ask to put in the change of command structure for the PIU. I would ask to exhibit that document. It should be 207C if accepted. Thank you.
Request granted, Council.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You have given me a book.
It includes.
This is your blue book.
I prepared this in 2018. The police officer to use as a pocket book.
Police officer
it involves some cost.
And the password
and because I want the sponsor to at least give it to them free. And I also continue to develop it.
And what is the status of the document at the moment?
It's not validated yet.
It's not validated yet. So this is just a draft. Well, at least someone has made an effort to ensure that the right things are done, or to contribute to the right things being done according to law.
A lot of human rights issues are there. Management of public order. On the side of the prisons, Mandela rules are there. Rules for women prisoners and juvenile prisoners are also there. But at least they will temporarily use that, and this is communicated to most of the officers.
Would you wish to produce this to the Commission? Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I would ask that it be exhibited as 207D. You agree? So we should have it.
Yes, you can.
Okay. So exhibit 207D. This could help this could help in our recommendations for institutional reform.
I sent it to quite a number of lawyers, but quite a number of don't respond. Mr. Dabo is one of them. Mr. Dabo them to vet and then see.
Call for circulate it and call for a validation meeting.
Yeah.
You are now Minister of Interior. It should not be difficult to organize that. Right? But I hope that in the rules also you would indicate that those who violate the laws, including both sides of the aisle, the law enforcers,
their responsibilities.
And exactly. And they should also be prosecuted for violating the law.
Because I highlighted the 5 principles.
All right, so let us move on to the last point.
Your request is granted.
Thank you very much.
Does the witness imply that, or did I hear you correctly, that all the victims of that day are going to be given free copies of this manual?
Well, after being launched.
No, he just gave it to Mr. Dabo by virtue of the fact that he is a senior lawyer.
He was the Minister of Foreign Affairs, because as a lawyer, I just want him to go through. I've given to quite a number of lawyers, but even the Human Rights Commission, I emailed a copy, but no response from. I want somebody to at least, if I'm going wrong somewhere, and somebody to end the
Well, it's a good initiative.
Yeah, so
let's say there.
Chief Mane, he was arrested by the police and he has disappeared since.
You want me to comment on that?
Yes.
I was not here when the arrest was made. I was in UK.
When was he arrested? If you have
because all the records are saying 2006. 2006.
So, 2006.
I was in UK at the time. I come to know about Chief Mane issue only when I became the IG.
As IG, did the police seriously and genuinely investigate this case?
When I received a query from Amnesty International, I searched for a report on Chief Mane. I couldn't see anything.
Why couldn't you see anything?
I don't know where to start because I don't know who I handling the matter.
When did you become IGP?
In 2010.
2010.
After 4 years.
So after 4 or 5 years, the police had no file on him.
I could not see any file on him.
Isn't that also surprising?
Yes, surprising. There is no file on him. When reports started coming heavily, I decided to invite CID officers to see where they can trace any file in the scope of Chief Mane. We did it for quite some time. No, nothing. And then finally there was a query. I think the information that was sent to me was equally sent to the Office of the President and Ministry of Justice. And we were asked to comment to find out. It is only during this commission that I am asked to perform an impossible act. That I am tasked to do something that is obvious, more obvious to people assigning me than myself. But I did what I could at the time. I instructed that all police stations, inquiries will be made at all stations, because Amnesty indicated Fatoto. My officers went there, and a lot of entries. We also make queries to immigration.
Okay. With regards to Fatoto, did you ask for the Fatoto diary?
Fatoto la kuoto. Fo inar na nyinin karo ke Fatoto la diary nyin la bang.
I don't ask for diaries. The investigators who ask for information. But according to them, there is no trace of Chief Mane in Fatoto. But I did not direct them to bring the file to me, like the former IG did. I would prefer.
Remember you told us earlier.
I would prefer to go there, but did not also go there.
But you would agree that the diary would be the most important, or one of the most important documents that would tell us something.
Yes.
Did you ensure that the diary was inspected?
No, I directed them to there, to the place, and the diary was inspected.
Did they find the diary?
They said there is no trace of Chief Mane in
Did
their
they
report.
find the diary?
Well, that's not clear to me, but what I know is that the report that I received from them said
the issue of a trace of him in there, they might have been referring to a physical trace, but was there any entries in the diary? Did they see the diary? Did they inspect the diary?
I think they've seen the diary and they've inserted it, because their report said there is no trace of Chief Mane being entered in the diary during the period in question. And I also
did you, by any chance, make statements about the possible whereabouts of Chief Mane?
I made this thing because after making all, I first sent letters to immigration to see exit entries. I have no trace of that. Then I advised the Interpol officers. Interpol query. And we received responses from different countries. Canada is one of them, which is negative. America said he entered when he has transited to another place.
When was the? Do you have the letter for the Americas?
Yes. It was based on this. I sent that information to the Minister of Justice. That our inquiries now is saying on so and so date this guy is seen in America.
Can you send us that letter?
He was the one who made the public statement. I was just, it was sometime in 2011.
2011
I decorated some senior officers at the headquarters, promotion. And during that time, journalists were invited. And as we completed the ceremony, we are going downstairs. We are going downstairs just to do the tradition of washing the promoted officers. And I cannot remember which of the journalists, but he asked me about Chief Mane. I was walking down with him. I said, well, as far as we know, American need to be asked.
Pardon?
I said, as far as I know, the American needs to be asked about the whereabouts of
Do you have the document? Have you found it?
It's a lot of documents, but I can give you. But what is more important?
No, I want to see that document. It's a very important one.
I also want to read it to you. You wouldn't mind?
Yes, please.
Okay. There was a correspondent. The first response I was unable to get that. It is dated on the 20 June 2011. Well, it said, further to our message of 2011, and in order to clarify media reports, because when it was in the media that America is seen America, and that's why America made these things. But their previous letter, where they confirmed, is not available as of now. Further to the message of June 2011, and in order to clarify media reports, please be advised, U.S. records reflect that an individual with the same name as a subject and date of birth on the 18th February 1978, bearing passport number PC 017941, transited the U.S. at Baltimore, Maryland on the 4th June 2006, arriving on North American flight airline NAA flight number 124 and departing the same day on NAA flight number 123 US indices. That's why I stopped. I say you indices have no other record of the subject's entry to or presence in the United States.
But you would recall that even the vice president of this country did say that Chief Mane was also in the U.S.
But if son vice president, president no longer Chief Mane.
I'm not aware of that, but I am aware of the Minister of Justice statement.
But you know, Mr. Witness, that to have said this statement in 2012, it was a blatant lie. 2011, or for whatever time it was, after 2007, this statement is a lie.
For me, it was not a lie.
But of course it is.
It is not for me.
But Mr. Witness, did you find out when Chief Mane was last seen in the Gambia? But Mr. Witness, tell me, you have no record of when he was last seen in the Gambia. How could you say that he was in the U.S.?
But U.S. responded that he transited there. And we check, when was he missing?
Exactly, that is the question you ought to have asked yourself.
I have no information, because even if there was investigation.
Mr. Witness, let me read this thing out for you. I have this North Bank Evening Standard. It's a Gambia online paper, and it was written Tuesday, June the 5th, 2012. And it tries to recogitate, recapture, or recast the interaction you had with that journalist. And this is what it says. CPU faults police chief's stance on missing journalist. The Gambia's Inspector General of Police, Mr. Yankuba Sonko, was quoted last week to have told a local newspaper that missing journalist Chief Ibrahim B. Mane was seen in the United States of America. as far as we are concerned, that is quote, as far as we are concerned, the latest information we received from Interpol is that he was seen in America, and that is it.
That's the truth.
But that is not the truth, Mr. Sonko.
That's the truth at that time.
No, it was not the truth. The truth was that on the 4th of June 2006, he was in the U.S. But after the elections in the Gambia in 2006, he was in the Gambia. That is the truth.
Yes, I have no information on that.
Then the statement you made is reckless.
No, I said as far as I know.
But you know then the statement you made was reckless. You made a statement without knowing the full impact of what you were saying.
No, I made a statement on my honest belief that that is what is.
But that was reckless, Mr. Witness, because you did not check when he was last seen in the Gambia, and you left the impression that he was in the United States.
Of course, because
that was reckless.
That was the information that I received.
Yes, that is true. But what you ought to have done, you did not do. You did not check whether he was seen in the Gambia after that date provided by the U.S.
I should have known that from the information that should have been given to me.
But did you ask for it?
Remember?
Did you ask for it?
Yes, of course. I remember. I said I searched for the investigation file. Okay. But I could not see the investigation file.
But how could
I initiated my own investigation, and this is one of the response.
But the problem is, how could you not have known that he was seen in the Gambia after the date provided to you by the U.S.? How could you not have known if there was genuine investigations?
There was no. There was a response.
Answer the question. How could you not have known?
Let me give you another listing, because these are not coming from me. They are coming from my officers who were doing the investigation.
But Mr.
I rely on them.
Mr. Sonko, you are a very smart person. You are a lawyer. You know the rules. You know the game. The government and government officials were covering up for the disappearance of this person and were continuously speaking a lie about this person.
I'm not part of that cover-up.
Well, Mr. Witness, the statement that you made...
If I said something...
Just hear me out. Just hear me out.
Okay.
Just hear me out. The statement that you made is a rehash of what Vice President Jai Sedi said, that this guy was in the U.S. The same statement you made without checking whether that statement is in fact true.
I honestly believe that since he's seen there and there is no trace of him here before or after.
But you did not check that.
Well, that's the information, because
But did you ask for when he was last seen in Gambia?
No.
Exactly. So if you do not ask for when he was last seen in Gambia, how could you positively assert that he was in the United States?
Well, there is a report on that. That is not from me. But all that I continue to do is to tell them to give me more information about Chief Mane, and they make queries in the Interpol, and that was the response.
But the thing is, you were in no position to make this statement because it's false.
To me, at that time, I reasonably believe it to be true.
But you could not have
no cause to doubt.
But hear the question first. You could not have reasonably believed that he was in the U.S. You could not have. There was no basis for such a reasonable belief. It was, in fact, a fanciful belief.
Are you telling me that Chief Mane was in U.S. and he comes back or whatever?
Well, all the evidence points to the fact that he was in Gambia in the elections, after the elections of 2006.
Has he also traveled to U.S.?
No, well, the report you cited, but the report you cited is that he was in the U.S. on 4th of June.
I think this would be of help to you to confirm that he was in U.S. at that particular time.
But this is of no help. he was in Gambia post this date.
Yeah, but if the state is saying, because the evidence that we received from the United States, that Chief Mane was in the United States at that particular time, wouldn't that help you to free? Because what I'm seeing
no,
now...
No, it would not.
Logically, what I'm seeing now is it appears that he has been there and came and events happened after this thing.
Exactly, precisely the point.
But I only know that now.
No, Mr. Witness, I am telling you, I'm not suggesting that you deliberately lied.
No.
I'm not suggesting that.
No.
But I am saying that your statement was reckless.
I would never have even comment on this if I did not receive any listing that he has entered. I said, as far as we know as at now.
Yes, but this is what I'm telling you, that statement was reckless, and that statement was false.
It may be reckless, but it's not false.
Yes, it is false. It is false because it's not true.
It is not false. It is not false. It's a statement. You want to say that Interpol transmission is false statement?
No. Your statement.
Then the information. Then the content of that information could not be false.
Just hear me out.
Okay.
Your statement suggesting that Chief Mane was in the U.S. is false, because he was seen in Gambia after this date.
What I said is that as far as we're concerned, Chief Mane is seen in the U.S. And that's what the content reads.
Yes, but that is not the case. That is a false statement.
He has never been to the U.S.?
He had been, but he returned to Gambia.
Yeah, but I don't know of his return. The evidence that I have,
but this is what I am telling you.
We are concerned as at now.
Mr. Witness, that's why I said that I do not doubt your bona fides. I have no reason to doubt that. All right? But I would say your statement was utterly reckless. You made it without checking all the relevant information.
I would agree, but I would not agree that it is false.
Well, it is no choice but to agree that it's false, because you cannot say it's true.
What I've said is by the content of the information that I received. And this is from the original source, and it's a reliable source.
Mr. Witness, you suggested that this man was in the U.S., correct?
Based on the information that I received.
Perfect. But there is other existing information within the possession of the police which clearly establish that that is not true.
That is not to my knowledge.
That's why I say your statement was reckless.
Yes, I would.
And the fact that
I would agree.
And the fact
totally, I agree that at that time, because I don't know all the facts.
Okay.
And I jump into it.
Exactly.
Maybe reckless.
Exactly.
But to say it is false, no.
No, it is false. The falsity of the statement does not depend on your intention. It depends on the veracity of the information.
But the information is correct.
It is not.
What is
you are suggesting here that he was in the U.S.
Read the paragraph, read the listing of the journalist.
We are talking about the intention, the meaning you intended to convey. As far as we are concerned, the latest information we received from Interpol is that he was seen in America.
Yeah, this is it.
And that is it. But the thing is, Mr. Witness,
that is not false.
Yes, it is false.
You have seen the correspondence.
It is false. You are suggesting not only that he was seen in the U.S., all right, but he was not in Gambia, but in the U.S.
No.
That is the intention of the information you conveyed.
The latest information, at that time, I do not commit myself to say we have concluded everything.
By 2012, the Gambia government knew that Chief Mane was in Gambia during elections of 2006.
I'm not denying that, but I do not know.
Okay, so okay, just hear me out. If you accept that fact, how could this statement that Chief Mane was in the U.S., how could that statement be true?
I will always telling that statement if I know the details about him being here at that time.
Okay, but the thing is,
this is somebody who just come in.
But this is the point, Mr. Witness. The veracity of the statement does not depend on what you feel or the extent of your knowledge. The veracity depends on whether it is true or whether it is false. It depends on facts that exist. And the facts that exist show that he was in the Gambia at a much later date than the period he was in the U.S.
I have no idea about that.
Okay. Then the statement that you made is false.
No, I said as far as I know.
You may not have known.
That's just why I said probably I may be reckless in that statement.
Yes, we established you are reckless.
That is false.
But okay,
I will not agree to that.
Okay, let me ask you. Did you know that your statement was true?
To me, it was true.
You believed it was true?
I believe. I have no doubt.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
You accept that as at elections of 2006, all right, Chief Mane was in the Gambia. You accept that?
You are just telling me now.
Okay. If that statement is true, it therefore means that...
It therefore means that he was there and came back.
Precisely the point. So he could not have been in the United States in 2012.
But that is the fact that is not known to me.
But it does not matter whether you know it or not.
No, I can only...
The falsity of it does not depend on whether you know it to be false.
No.
The falsity depends on the facts.
No,
if the facts run contrary to it, then it is false.
Yes, then that means you have to establish that the facts went contrary to it.
Exactly.
But I did not establish that.
But
that's why
Mr. Witness,
I may be reckless in saying that.
Obviously you are reckless.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
But
I will agree to that.
yes, but the fact that you did not know whether the statement was true or false, it's neither here nor there.
I'm not doubting the statement at that time. I never doubted that statement. I thought that is the reality.
Okay, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this. Do you think that for the statement to be true, it depended on whether you believe in it or not?
No, it does not only depend on your belief.
Exactly. Exactly. Your statement, you might have believed it to be true, but it has turned out to be false.
I have no doubt to doubt the American information that this man has transited in that area. And that's made me to believe. Because if he had not gone to America at that time, they would not have written, because Canada responded negative, all other countries responded negative.
But you are missing the point. We have accepted that you are reckless in your statement.
Yes, if you say that, I will agree.
Okay, but why do you accept that you are reckless? Because there is some other information out there which you did not consider.
Yes.
Okay, but that information out there shows that the statement you made was false.
But it was not forthcoming at that time.
Whether you know it or not.
That's why I said, as far as I know now.
Yes, okay. As far as you know now, the statement you made was false.
No. Yes, as far as that statement is false.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah. As far as I know now.
Mr. Chair, let me ask to exhibit this statement. It is North Bank Evening Standard, TNVES. It's an article dated Tuesday, June 5th, 2012. That should be exhibit 207E. Sorry. That should be exhibit 207F. Yes, that should be the document from the U.S. government.
Okay.
That should be exhibit 207E. I did that, Mr. Chair, so that the chronology would flow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I have no further questions for the witness. Thank you very much, Mr. Witness, for answering my questions. And on this last point, the important issue for us here is the consistency of government officers in peddling information that, if verified, they would have known to be false. And that is this issue about Chief Mane being in the U.S.
Yeah.
If verified, they would have known that it is false. And that goes for the vice president in suggesting Chief Mane was in the US. It also goes for Mr. Sonko in suggesting that, regardless of the bona fides of the persons concerned. Thank you.
If the people who knows the facts are the people assigning to find the facts, and they are still sitting on the facts, that
is classic telltale signs of cover-up.
What I've discovered now is I am assigned to work on a task that is known to them, that there's no way that I can get anything out of it.
But not only that, you are spied on by people who also know the facts.
Yes, but I am not scared of that. I have been told several times, I am never scared of that. My only will always call my attention, be careful. And I said, it's only God that will take my life, nobody else. And I believe in that. And that's how I managed to survive up to date.
You served a rotten government.
Well, I will not say a rotten government, because there are a lot of people who are efficient. So the government, the way government is being run is sometimes what is rotten. But we have excellent people.
It stunk badly.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, my counsel, and thank you, Honorable Minister, for coming to testify. I'm sorry that we kept you here all day. Council had indicated earlier that we would take into account your state responsibilities and see if we could expedite the testimony. Things didn't turn out that way, but very helpful indeed, and thank you so much for coming to testify.
Chair, perhaps I should also put in this piece of information. This is an extract from Freedom Now. It's the case file of Chief Mane. Perhaps I should just make the witness see this before I exhibit it.
So it's an excerpt from where?
Freedom Now.
Oh,
These
Freedom
are
Now.
campaign platforms for missing persons.
Okay.
Take a look at it. Could you read the first few paragraphs?
Okay. Expected release unknown. Okay.
This is a case file for who?
Chief Ibrahim Mane was a senior reporter for Banjul Banjul-based Daily Observer. He was arrested by the National Intelligence Agency on the 7th July 2006.
Could you stop there? Could you stop there? Okay. Could you stop there, please? What date did the Americans tell you he transited the U.S.?
I think the information is still now with you. I don't know.
That's June.
Whether I can.
That was June.
This is July.
Exactly.
That's
exactly. So
he was there in
July, he was in the hands of the NIA.
I agree. He will have come back.
Exactly. So what I am trying to suggest to you.
But why is it that the NIA were not asked to investigate this matter?
You asked me that question.
So this is the issue. If you are asking people, that means this is all the cover-up.
Of course,
because
it is a cover-up.
You are asking an innocent person or somebody who has no knowledge and to investigate a matter.
But Mr. Witness, if you had just Googled Chief Ibrahim Mane, this information would have popped up. So if you receive this document from the U.S. telling you that he was seen in the U.S. on the 4th of June 2006, you would have known that he had returned to Gambia. You would not have made that reckless and false statement you made.
I did not say this. And,
but this is in the public domain.
Yeah,
if you had investigated, you would have seen it.
I will not use the social media that much on my investigation, because what I believe in that, if we want to make Interpol is there.
You call the internet social media?
No, what I'm saying is that I don't want to be using information from other sources.
But you know, open source information is good information in any investigation.
Well, it gives you a tip.
Yes.
Yes.
And that is what this would have done for you. It would have given you the answer that the government was hiding from you.
Yes, we also have to remember that I did not personally investigate this. I assign investigators.
But Mr. Witness, you had the responsibility over the case and you made pronouncement on the case.
I made pronouncement over the case.
Exactly. So,
but I don't have responsibility over the case.
I would not bother you any further.
Sorry.
I think I have all the answers that I want on this. Thank you very much. May I ask that this document be exhibited? So the chair, please, and then we take it from there. If the chair agrees, it should be exhibit 207G. G.
No, FG.
G.
G as in the Gambia. Thank you. While we are looking at that, Council, do you recall on the 3rd of October 2019 when the former Vice President Njai said he testified, did she say anything about Chief Mane? You recall?
I cannot recall that.
Okay.
I cannot recall asking her about Chief Mane. But we have her on the record saying that Chief Mane had gone to the U.S. or that he had gone back way.
Well, I just wanted to know if she said something different from that
No.
when she appeared.
No.
Because
no.
I think that statement was before she came here.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
That's right. Thank
Fine.
you.
But again, thank you very much.
She said that as late as or as early as 2007.
Well, yeah, okay. Yeah, fine. Thank you, Commissioner Kinte. You wanted the floor? We turn to the commissioners now if you have any questions.
Commissioner Kintela Kanininka.
Good evening, Honorable.
Honorable.
Well, when you look at, I will start with the Chief Mane case. Your assertion that you are a seasoned investigator could be questioned. Because the time elapsed in this case, for example, between 2006 and 2012, was such a span, like 4 June 2006 to whatever date in 2012. A lot of developments could have taken place regarding Chief Mane or any other person for that matter. 6 years was quite a span. If you were assigned to investigate on Chief Mane's case, I think you should have established some hypotheses. Where could be the possible places of finding out about Chief Mane? From the family? From his professional work area? Associates? And allegations or suspicions about his affairs regarding the government. The predomination should not be trying to relegate whatever the government, trying to say, for example, talk in the way that you're trying to save the government. If you want to know about me, you cannot go to only one source, like police. Find out from my family. when I was last found here? What about my workplace? For the journalists, in fact, there is a union. Did you make any attempt to at least inquire in those from those sources to find out, at least to give it a different, another perspective?
Baren kibar bundal ye kafo soto le mialan ka be lorin ka nyinin karo ke o fanna la pour ka long.
What I want to confirm here is that I have never investigated. I assigned that investigation to people.
But you have
the IGP normally does not investigate.
I know, but he does.
These are people that I rely on. And at my level, I try to locate the files of Chief File, because since it's 2006, I couldn't find that file. But I just asked the officers to proceed in their fact-finding. Why is that fact-finding was on? That was the time that we received this information from America. That's not from 20. Their second letter is 2012, but the first letter was 2011.
The letter for Wakata 2020, but Flanya Wakata 2021.
Honorable, with all due respect, 5 years and 6 years respectively.
Yeah, Honorable, Sanji Lulu, Katafo Sanji Woro.
Still indicate a significant span of time elapsed. And as the IGP, when you assign your team, you also indeed have oversight responsibility to ensure that competency is exercised, adequacy is exercised. If there are need to look at 3, 4, 5 areas, you only focus on one. Is that indicating how naive your system is? Or was? Again, when this letter came to you in 2011 and 12, they were referring to 4, 5, 6 years ago. So they should not have been your benchmark. Sole benchmark that you can lean on, especially when it comes to putting up a statement that you are going to give impression to a whole nation. I suggest a good investigator would have looked at a number of areas exhaustively before he or she goes out to give a statement, a national statement.
I think they have done a lot of investigation. What probably must have made them to stop? Probably they were equally convinced that the subject is in the United States. That's what our belief was.
Even if they have not yet contacted the family.
I'm not sure where the families are contacted, but they have because personally, I wrote to the immigration to get his passport details and everything, and that was sent and was given to investigators.
One, and not even his workplace. Did the passport indicate travel after the time or within the time scope bracket we are talking about?
It's the passport details.
Yes. Did it say he traveled after July 2006?
The passport information from immigration does not indicate stamps or anything. It indicates your number, the issuing authority, the date it was issued, date of expiry. So that was the one that we used for verification.
My second point is about the migrants. I'm not sure whether I'm getting it correctly that you got the diary from the then minister, or was it from Bara?
I did not get the diary from I get the extract of the diary from Numo Kujabi, then the officer commanding the Interpol. It's an extract of the diary. That was what was made available to me, and that's what was submitted.
And okay, that's the one from Bara, the one they have falsified?
Well, I want to believe because I want to believe that's the one. The one that was falsified in 2005.
I recall that you said at least you heard about Ghanaians or whatever even before you came back to Gambia.
Of course. But the 8 who died is in the newspapers.
And you said you needed that of Bara because Martin said they were first arrested in Bara.
Yes.
When you looked at the extract and did not see anything about Bara, what effort did you make to contact Bara police or people, in fact, particularly in your case, you hail from Bunyadu and so on?
I am not investigating. I am only facilitating. And what was given to me is what I submitted. If I am tasked to investigate, probably I will say a lot of things that are now disclosed. But I was not an investigator. I was only to facilitate. And my facilitation is, we need this, these people need this, give it to me, I handle it. So if we have to facilitate, the person, for example, the assistant here, facilitating movement of documents from me to the lead counsel, from the lead counsel me or to the commissioner. That was really my action.
Did you contact or Numo as to the discrepancy in the various versions?
I don't know whether you get me right.
No, I've got you.
This is the information, that is one. You give it to me, I hand over.
You did not even browse through it?
I look at the open disk. I don't know where, but I was looking at some of them. But it's not my district.
Your interest would have been on the time frame, 22nd July, 23rd July.
That is my focus.
Fine.
When you look in there, I want it to be on that particular date to that particular date.
When you looked in there and did not see it, didn't you call Numo's attention that this 22nd to 24th, I have not seen anything about the migrants?
No.
And there is an allegation. You compare and contrast the two stories.
I did not do that.
Thank you very much.
I did not do that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Carr, you have the floor.
Commissioner Carr,
thank you, Chairman.
Baraka, Chairman.
And thank you, Mr. Sonko, for your testimony.
Mr. Sonko,
I just have a question that you may include in your closing remarks. You may have already thought about it anyway. And that is regarding reforms in the security sector. And what role are you playing in ensuring that some of the things that we have had here, which you have condemned, are changed for the good?
ye ko nga ko mi moy jangani fon ye ko mi fo ye mum ferel le soto pour ka je ko wo ko nyinga e danga kana continue ko ten.
We just want to know what is happening with security sector reform to ensure never again. Thank you.
Ka jele mine be ke ka da ku kam nyato tale soto la je sa je ka mum fo akana ko koten wo kana ke.
The policy is ready. And every department has now take cue from the main policy. I have already invited stakeholders. They were in my office 2 weeks ago. This includes lawyers within the police and immigration. And they also invite the community and NGOs to at least to review and see what's going to be good for different directorates or institutions. I know one thing that is going to be permanent is the training. Even in the former regime, probably, I think I interviewed you personally. When at one time you applied for cadet assistance, and you are qualified, and then you did not turn up. But I came in when there's only 5 university graduates within the police, including myself. In the 7 years, I recruited 165 graduates. This is all geared to unfortunately, they could not be effectively reformed because of the system. Quite a number of them are with their master's degrees now. And almost every police officer is trying to get something. Police officer, quite a number of them have paid for their own tuition fees. It's a competition within police officers now to acquire higher education. What is needed now is to help them, and that will pay a dividend tomorrow. Thank you.
Many of those graduates that you recruited came in the last 3 years of Yahya Jammeh's regime. And did you see any qualitative difference? 3 years that graduates are in, and of Yahya Jammeh, and the period before they came in. I'm looking at qualitative difference.
Chairman, I think some of your investors are those that I recruited. Abdumane is one of them, Senghor is one of them, and quite a number of others. But it was during Yahya Jammeh's time. But we helped quite a number of them out of, not from government fund, but from out of our peacekeeping fund. If we should apply for probably we will not get enough sponsors. So we are using our own welfare fund to uplift them. And this is still on.
Thank you very much. Commissioner, if there are no further questions from commissioners, we would, if you have any concluding remarks to make, please go ahead and do that, Minister Sonko.
Commissioner Mr. Sonko is
If you allow me, I want to make my closing remarks in the local language.
Please go ahead.
Follow mbe chairman okontona.
First of all, I am greeting the chairman
And commissioners from Bebejang.
and all the commissioners present here.
Lead council and other Molbe.
The lead council and his team.
Ndela jeroto.
How I see things.
Ninyo.
This kind of thing is something that has no equality.
And
also, the job that you are doing, people know it. It is a good job, and it entails the truth. Anyone who on the truth side is the person that is going to be scared to come here. But I have one complaint to make. There are some people who will come here to give their testimony. I want you to look at their testimonies very well. Some of them, they do it for a purpose. And you take things. Anyone who is coming here to testify, you should know that God exists. We are here saying things. Anything that I have stated here, one day God will judge you. And anyone who has stated, judge you for it. People come here. If you come here, you should speak the truth. There are many people who said the truth and they have appeared before this commission. But there are some people who appear before the commission. They are not willing to speak the truth. I have heard a lot of statements that is concerned about me. I have heard some. It makes me very scared. Because I knew very well that I'm not that type of person. That is not me. But the way you want to clear yourself, all of us, we all have families. And then we said we should come and go. We said we should reconcile. I know so many people come here, but also myself, personally myself, if I have offended anybody, I am willing to apologize to that person. But anyone also who offended me, you should come here and ask for my forgiveness. If you cannot come here, you should call me by phone and tell me so that I can forgive you for the sake of Judgment Day. The job that you are doing, I'm very happy. And I'm also thinking that all the Gambian people are happy of your good job. Security officer, there are many security officers that appeared here. They were very afraid. That is the cost. They were very afraid until it has passed the mark. But it is not only included only the security officers alone. There are many institutions. Lawyers were detained. And there were no lawyers that were ready to protest. They asked me personally that they are going to protest. I gave them the permission and they never did. Then they are scared. We all should accept that we are all scared by then. We were all scared by then. There are many things that has happened in the hands of some people. They just want for the president, then President Yajame, to know that they are working, and that makes them fail. They should have seen that it is Allah who is seeing them, the job they are doing. That is the suffering that is within us today. But this country, the Gambia, we are the same father and mother. We should hold each other as the same father and mother. We should put aside the politics and be reconciled to become one people. Let's put the politics one side. If we don't put the politics aside, we just used to do it like we are from the same father. You will have problems. Then the appeal that I want to make, all those people who are listening to me, we all should come together. We take each other as the same father and the same. Every now and then, one person must be commissioners. You see, there are a lot of commissioners here, but they have their chairman. Councillors, lead councillors. We have a lot of councils here, but there is lead council. Then we should hold it in that manner. The things that have passed. The events that have passed.
Anybody who wins, who leads.
Those who those who lead. Yes. We should respect the person, so that we can also come to that position. What I think, the president is never wicked. Those surrounding the presidents are the wicked ones. Any human being, you tell him things that will make him scared. If it continues like that, he will become paranoid. And if the person becomes paranoid, his thinking will not be long. And if a fly passes by him, he will say it is a witch. And he will not forgive anybody. Then those who are closer or surrounding the elders, let us be very careful what words we give to those elders. We should not make our elders to become paranoid. Tell the person the truth. That's where it will end. I myself, former president, my relationship with the former president, 7 years as IG. I was working for 7 years. He never called me. And I have never called him. If I tell anybody this, you won't believe. There was no day that the telephone has passed between us. Call. Because if I keep calling him every now and then, I will say something to him that will. Security Council Chairman, the Vice President. Oh, I know he gave that role to the Vice President. That is the person I spoke with. There is minister that I spoke with. Secretary General. There is also a Secretary General that I spoke with. But there are a lot of things that have passed. People don't know. Some people are there who wants to write. That is Halifa Saleh. But I refuse. I destroy his book. Because there are certain words that when I utter them here, the book will not be said. But it's very important that I say it. Well, that is what has happened during the impasse. Anyone who thinks that the security services, they were helping the then president, you are making a big mistake. For us, we have withdrawn long time ago. Because by then, the coalition members, their PRO was the one we always speak with. There is one particular person who appeared here. He said that I am the one who gave instruction for them to be taken to mile 2. But if the person knew what I did to preserve his life, he won't utter such statement.
Demonstration la bail application dunta.
The day that the demonstrators, their bail application has been heard,
Chief Justice I enter a call.
The Chief Justice called me.
The coalition is winning, Kelly.
Informing me that the coalition has won.
But the UDP protesters are coming before me today.
But UDP la balambaya moli binama berantenya.
What is your advice?
Say ben yamar la munana.
Kai ni manyu bula. Ibe banko jasla bi.
I told him, if you don't release these people, you'll mix this country.
By
then I was on my way to work.
Around 9 o'clock.
Upon my arrival at work, around 9 o'clock,
finally, IG.
He finally said to me,
what is your advice?
I instructed him to leave them.
Bail application
the bail application has been heard.
They were to be released.
Information,
reliable information.
I don't want to mention some names, but I have got a reliable information
from the State House. Mile 2.
The soldiers are preparing heading to mile 2. I called Halifa Saleh. I called him, where are you? He said, I am at home.
Mile 2.
I said, whatever you are doing, go to mile 2.
UDP coalition members
those UDP people and the coalition members that are at the gate, tell them to leave the gate.
To
my thinking, what I have said to him.
Coming,
to do a scenario
people are trying to forcefully remove Usenu and others from the thing. And
anything can happen.
Halifa Taraje Dunga engaged throughout on telephone.
Halifa went there and I was and I heard him saying to them, appealing to them to leave that place. I was in my office.
Then Commissioner Banjul
then the Commissioner of Banjul came, informing me that they have brought some people here. They were brought by the soldiers. I went downstairs and I met them. It was the Banjul MP, Silla. I asked him what happened. He said the time when you were speaking with Halifa, I was sitting with him. I came with him to talk to the people. The vehicle that I have parked on the Baobab tree, they said, let me be arrested. I told the Banyu station police officers to leave him. I knew very well Commissioner Landing Bojang is listening.
And Commissioner Jama
and there are many commissioners that are currently listening. I gave the instruction. No one should take an instruction from any other person unless the instruction is from me. And that was the way we were. The instructions were coming.
Lameng UDP bandero ba betono.
Lameng UDP flyers were all over.
Emeba
Emeba is listening to me.
I instruct police bandero jindi.
He gave me an instruction for those flyers to be put down. I told him that that is not the role of the police.
Works.
Go to works.
Well, they're responsible for signboards.
They are the one responsible for the signboards.
President Barrow inauguration.
When President Barrow was about to be inaugurated,
there
were many people that came out.
Namol Landimbo Jankai instructions to ko Yamol stop.
My people, Landimbojan, said that he received an instruction that they should stop the people.
Okay, from who?
I asked him from who.
Ako DIG la call, but ako General Baji DIG call.
He said DIG called him, then General Baji called the DIG.
Ako nyabarialo konkana instruction tamandi damang imasu.
But he said to me, you said I should not work on any instruction that you don't give to me. I said, yes, don't go by any instructions. My job is to prevent the lives of human beings, to protect the lives of human beings. That's what I'm doing
for Bichilo.
Up to date. People are making their statement. There are some people here who came, they were trying to extricate themselves by putting their leaders in
2005 calamity, 2006 calamity.
But those people who have spoken, they were aware of the 2005 and 2006. And there is no one among them who will say that they were discussing that issue with another person.
Commissioner of Security personnel,
the commissioner knows his security personnel. Anyone who enters, it never goes out.
Need to know basis.
It's something that is based on need to know basis. That's why we who came last, we will not know anything. And when you come, they will just take you along because they will know that you don't know anything. But all of us should try. Those who never appear here yet, they should come here. And when they come here, they should speak the truth. Those people who are here, they should know the truth. So that we can unite together to be one people. I'm greeting everybody. And we should all think like this thing should never happen here again. This is the statement that I want to give. Wassalam.
Thank you very much indeed, Honorable Minister, for those very wise words.
Honorable Minister, and
again, we thank you very much for your testimony. And I hope the entire country has heard you when you say for almost 22 years we all lived in fear here. And I hope that our mantra never again would apply to all of us. That we will not live in fear any longer, never again would we live in fear. Never again would we have somebody violate our human rights and the abuses that are perpetrated on innocent Gambians. And we accept it quietly and then say,
and we said that it is caused destined by God.
And thank you very much indeed, Honorable Minister, for your testimony.
Honorable Minister,
we will resume tomorrow morning our proceedings at 10 o'clock.
Meeting
is adjourned. Thank you all very much.